Welcome to Weekly Digest, where we highlight the work of ministers of government as they push the administration's development agenda. Picking up from where we left off last week, a conflict resolution committee will be formed to look into land-related issues affecting farmers. This was one of several issues addressed by Minister of Agriculture, the Honourable Zulfikar Mustafa, when he met with farmers in Region 5 on Saturday. The minister told the group that the recently appointed board of the Mahaica Bari Agricultural Development Authority, MMA-ADA, will be looking into similar matters.
Over the years, I think that a number of people have been manipulating the system, so to speak, in getting land. So what we want to do, we want to straighten out the system. We want the system to work. And people who are deserving must get the land to plant. On my open day at the Ministry of Agriculture, people come every time and the matter are in the court. This man planting this man land, this person planting this man take away this land, you can't walk on that dam. That got to stop now.
Minister Mustafa told residents that the Conflict Resolution Committee is expected to speedily resolve matters rather than have them go through a lengthy court process. Residents of Matthews Ridge Region 1 will soon benefit from skills training programs under the Ministry of Labour's Board of Industrial Training, BIT. The 4-month programs in welding and fabrication and garment construction were launched this week. Minister of Labour, the Honourable Joseph Hamilton, encouraged the youths to make full use of the opportunities so they could make meaningful contributions to their communities.
The Board of Industrial Training, it is at the disposal of Matthews Ridge to help with training needs. And we have programs, and next year we will be rolling them out fast and furious because the year is about finished. And we will add new programs to what we already have. Heavy duty equipment operator, we have. Mechanics, we have. Garment manufacturing. Agro-processing. Cosmetology. Cake decoration. All those programs we do.
Also, the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security will soon roll out a series of training and entrepreneurship initiatives aimed at empowering women and single parents. Minister, the Honourable Dr. Vindhya Prasad, said these projects will allow women to access a wider range of job opportunities, have a stable income, and improve their social standing.
It's not just giving someone money and hoping that they can make their business work. So, like we have the Garment and Cottage Industry Initiative where we are linking them to markets, all the other initiatives, and just because I don't want to tell you right now, until we're ready to roll them out, you'll see a series of them. So we're not giving you the money and leaving you. We're taking you through the whole process.
Training will be conducted by the ministry in partnership with several entities, including the Small Business Bureau and the Institute of Private Enterprise Development. On Monday, the Prime Minister, the Honourable Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, closed the 2020 Hackathon, where he reflected on the talent displayed throughout the competition.
The Hackathon showcases the brilliant minds and talent that our Guyanese people, and how they can put those talents to use to help solve real issues in our country. It is always a proud moment when we can showcase the abilities of our people in this way.
5 teams competed from December 5th to 7th under the theme Digitizing Our Education System for 2020 and Beyond. The Ministry of Health's COVID-19 testing capacity has been boosted by ExxonMobil Guyana's donation of $32 million for the acquisition of antigen testing kits. The company president handed over the check to Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, during a simple ceremony on Monday.
We have had particular challenges in rolling out PCR testing throughout Guyana because, as you would well imagine, we have a lot of remote communities, and doing the swabbing in those communities, the logistics of moving those samples to get it to Georgetown has been quite challenging. With this particular test that you're helping us to acquire, we are going to be able to remove a lot of these barriers, because once our health staff is trained, they would be able to do some of these tests in those communities within 20 minutes.
Guyana has deepened collaboration with Suriname to broaden connectivity and tap into new and exciting markets with the inking of an Open Skies agreement. Held at the Pegasus Hotel also on Monday, the agreement was signed by Minister of Public Works, the Honorable Bishop Juan Edgell, and Suriname's Minister of Transport, Communication and Tourism, His Excellency Albert Jubentana.
In this Open Skies agreement, we have agreed to remove all restrictions on market access, capacity, and pricing to create for a more open market and to give route rights for our respective airlines. This agreement is complementary to the new CARICOM Multilateral Air Services Agreement.
The agreement with Suriname will remove the obstacles that exist within the CARICOM agreement to promote trade, growth of the tourism sector, and the unrestricted movement of people.
We are signing this bilateral agreement to continue reciprocal exchange of traffic rights, but under an obligatory legal framework and not discretionary. This will give airlines more confidence and assurance in investing in the transport sector.
Guyana's agreement with Suriname comes on the heels of President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali visit to the Dutch-speaking country for its independence. Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport, the Honorable Charles Ramson Jr. says plans are advancing to transform the Indian Arrival Monument at Palmyra into an enhanced public park. This step, he said, follows discussion with President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali about turning the site into a more family-friendly space.
We had discussed what to do with this space. I'd raised it with the President, I raised it with the Cabinet, and of course families are important to the President, and the community is important to the President. So what the President and the Cabinet has decided to do in relation to this space is to make here a much more enhanced public space, to turn it into a public park where families can come, kids can come.
The private sector has already thrown its support behind the initiative, with Continental Group of Companies under Terginal Paints Incorporated pledging to donate a quality of paint valued at $2 million. The enhancement plans will see playground equipment and Wi-Fi infrastructure installed to provide free internet access to the public.
It's going to be managed in a way where the public can have far more access and usage for it. Over the next few months, we will be executing the program so that we get everything that I just said completed, so that the people of Berbice can have far more access to better facilities. And this is the first of many.
Commissioned in 2019, the $160 million monument features 6 bronze statues donated by the Government of India to Guyana in 2017. News on Tuesday. Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, officially opened a coconut nursery at Karuni, Susdike Linden Highway.
We in the Ministry of Agriculture, we are looking at the coconut industry not only to develop it, but coconut will play an important role in earning scarce foreign capital into our country.
The minister said the initiative will be taken across the country.
We have another one which we will commission very shortly at Charity in the Essequibo, where we will decentralize it and take it to Essequibo. I plan next year we will go to Berbice and move nurseries to Berbice and move to different parts like the interior, Region 9, and other regions across the country, so we can fully develop our coconut industry.
Also on Tuesday, Minister Mustafa promised to address issues affecting residents of Region 10. Specific areas he outlined were flooding, drainage, land ownership and water shortage. The minister and his team visited the communities of West Watuka, Nottinghamshire and Bamia, where they met with and interacted with residents. During the visit, Minister Mustafa also announced plans for immediate drainage works by NDIA to clear canals and roadside drains. He said another $50 million would be spent on a drainage and irrigation structure and a conservancy to serve the communities.
Come January, February, we will start the conservancy right at the back here. So we'll trap irrigation water. $123 million will be expended right here so that you can have regular irrigation to your crop here.
News on Wednesday. The Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation is set to resume surgeries that were placed on hold due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This mandate has been given to the new board of the hospital by Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Frank Anthony.
Now that we have moved most of our COVID-19 patients across to the Ocean View facility, we have now been able to free up Georgetown Hospital to be able to return back to some sense of normalcy. One of the immediate things that the board has been tasked with is to ensure that we resume planned surgery because we have a backlog that goes back from since March.
Minister Anthony said he was happy patients who have been on the long waiting list would finally get their procedures done. He added that the use of the antigen test will help the hospital return to some normalcy.
We'll be able to hospitalize patients and have faster turnaround because we are now using the antigen tests at the hospital. So rather than people having to wait in these transition wards for long periods of time waiting on a PCR result to come back, we can check to see whether what's their COVID status by using the antigen tests. And if we're not certain, then we do the PCR. But that would help us to screen a lot of patients and get them into the hospital and then be able to do surgery as quickly as possible.
The new GPHC board was appointed on Monday with effect from December 1, 2020 until November 30th, 2021. Minister of Public Works, the Honorable Bishop Juan Edgell, on Wednesday said the deadline for the final report for the probe of irregularities at the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation's asphalt plant has been extended to December 15, 2020.
My only role was to, one, empanel the team and to provide them with the kind of coverage to ensure that they got cooperation and got entry wherever they needed to do to conduct their investigation. My latest information, based on my communication of inquiring when I will get the report, because I'm impatient as well, is that it should be here by the 15th of December.
The investigation stemmed from reports of misappropriation in the management and reselling of government's asphalt and possible connection to the ministry's internal staff. The 4-member team is tasked with examining all aspects of the entity relating to the allegations. Also on Wednesday, following reports that a barge had hit the Demerara Harbour Bridge, pushing it out of line Wednesday afternoon, Minister Edgell, accompanied by Minister of Home Affairs, the Honourable Robeson Ben, visited the site to access the damage and resolve the traffic issues.
We have since been able to open back the bridge to light vehicular traffic. Right now we're having 2 lanes of traffic that is heading west, and we have suspended the collection of tolls to facilitate the fast and, or I should say, the speedy movement through the toll stations and to clear the East Bank corridor.
Repairs on the damaged section of the bridge commenced at 4 a.m. on Thursday and was completed by afternoon. On Thursday, The Ministry of Human Services and Social Security hosted a training for station sergeants to help in the fight against human trafficking. Minister of Human Services and Social Security, the Honourable Dr. Vindhya Prasad, noted that human trafficking was a form of modern-day slavery which needed to be stringently tackled.
Trafficking in persons. This is something that has been ongoing in the world for a number of years. Our country has not been left out of this. And as such, it is imperative that we put every mechanism in place so that we can destroy networks and let persons who are involved in carrying out this heinous activity know that we are serious and we mean business.
The police officers were reminded of the important role they play in reducing this crime.
We are the custodians of these rights in many ways. And when we fail, or when we do not act in a manner where people are assured of their rights, then I think we need to look at ourselves a little more, very objectively, at times critically, to see what we need to do.
The two-day training is a collaborative effort between the Ministry's Countering Trafficking in Persons Unit and the Ministerial Task Force on Trafficking in Persons. After a 2-month delay, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Manzoor Nadir, has received the 2019 Auditor General's report. It was presented by Auditor General Deodat Sharma, who noted a number of limitations caused by the pandemic. This included his department not being able to access Regions 1, 7, 8, 9, and 10 to physically verify projects. 4 performance audits were also incomplete. They should be completed in the new year. Also, 3 special investigations were finalized, including one into the Ministry of Social Protection's Sustainable Livelihood Entrepreneurial Development Program, SLED. The report will be tabled at the next sitting of the National Assembly. As part of government's efforts to promote awareness and lend support to domestic abuse victims, 914, a toll-free hotline, has been launched to expand the services for child protection and domestic abuse. During Thursday's event at the Artichon Conference Centre, Minister Prasad said the emergency hotline was one with a difference.
Let us make 914 the hotline with a difference. Why? One, because it is answered, and behind that answer there is help. There is tangible help. Help that can change someone's life, help that can give them a future, and help that can save a life.
Minister Prasad noted help will go beyond the conventional method as training will be introduced for adults who need it. She gave the assurance that the system would be monitored continuously and that every gap would be fixed. The initiative is a collaboration of the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, UNICEF, Digicel Ghana, Ghana Telephone and Telegraph Company, and the Telecommunications Agency. It is part of overall measures for promoting reporting, prevention, and response services to cases of violence. On Friday, the Ministry of Housing and Water awarded 24 contracts to the tune of $825 million for infrastructure projects.
We have as a mandate at our ministry the necessity to provide adequate housing. That's our #1 mandate. The response that you have seen, we are grateful that His Excellency President Mohamed Irfaan Ali and the entire cabinet has seen it fitting to make resources available to our ministry to support our program to ensure that we are able to respond to the needs of our citizens.
The Minister of Housing and Water, the Honourable Colin Crowell. He said the initiative fulfills part of the PPPC's manifesto of providing 50,000 house lots in 5 years. Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, the Honourable Susan Rodriguez, reminded contractors of the government's expectations.
It's not just about making lands available and allocating house lots, but we want to encourage community building, sustainable communities. And in order for us to do that, we need your help. We need your cooperation. We need your expertise. We need timely delivery, and we need quality work.
The project for works in Georgetown, the East Bank and East Coast of Demerara is funded by the government and the IDB. On Saturday, the Ministry of Home Affairs Ministerial Task Force on Trafficking in Persons, TIP, in collaboration with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, hosted a TIP training for police prosecutors to augment their skills in fighting human trafficking. Minister of Home Affairs and Chairman of the Ministerial Task Force on Trafficking in Persons, the Honourable Robeson Ben, urged police prosecutors to take advantage of the training and to have a more hands-on approach in crime fighting.
The police prosecutors, not simply in the issue of trafficking in persons, have to be the conscience of the society with respect to these matters. You have to reflect societal consciousness and conscience about these matters. We have to be at a locus where empathy, integrity are rolled into one to arrive at situations where we get the best result in respect of these matters.
Residents of Commons Lodge on the east coast of Demerara on Saturday got the opportunity to interact with the Minister of Human Services and Social Security, the Honourable Dr. Vindhya Prasad, as she visited the community. The minister and team visited the community to ensure persons were benefiting from the ministry's services. During the walkabout, food hampers were also given to underprivileged, senior citizens and migrants.
I've always believed if we know what the needs are of people, then we will be better able to tailor-make our programs and look at our policies as it relates to them. So this morning in Cummings Lodge, we had a number of things happening, and you were out with me visiting homes. We met a number of persons who are from other places, who are migrants, and we also understood from them that not all of them had jobs. They had a lot of children, so we were able to help those too. Differently able, the elderly, vulnerable families, underprivileged families. And the last leg of it is meeting with people in the community and seeing how our officers who are part of the team can reach out to them.
Hundreds of children received early Christmas presents from First Lady, Her Excellency Mrs. Arya Ali, during a Christmas tree lighting ceremony at Tushan on Saturday last. Minister of Education and Geographical Representative for Region 3, the Honourable Priya Manikchan, set the tone for the evening, stating that the festive season brings much hope amidst the COVID-19 pandemic.
Many people have lost, many people have gotten sick. But Christmas in this pandemic comes at a time when we have a good chance to reflect on the birth of Christ and all that means to all of us. If we are our brother's keepers, if we can share with each other, if we can help each other, then we will get through any hard time that hits us individually as a family, as a country, or as a world.
Tushan's Christmas tree lighting ceremony was one of 3 held within the region. Others were held at Parika and Vredenhoop. That's it for this edition of Weekly Digest. For these and other government-related information, do log on to our website dpi.gov.gy and our social media platforms as well. Goodbye.